The exact mechanism or process through which you can get really good at pickup is simply going out and doing that thing consistently and getting a lot of reps. And then the important second half of this equation that sometimes people forget is going back to the drawing board after you're out of the arena and troubleshooting where you had a sticking point. So, for example, if it's the initial approach anxiety, if it's in the interaction, if it's in the text game, right? Or if it's in, you know, what comes after that. Go back to the drawing board once you're out of the arena and troubleshoot that and iterate and come back with a new strategy for improvement. And it's this simple process of going into the arena, doing your best, and then the 50% other time when you're out of the arena, you're studying, learning, and getting better. Now, to study, learn, and get better, I recommend going on YouTube and searching up and really just immersing in all of the content and troubleshooting exactly why you might be struggling and some possible solutions for that. Some of these include stuff like charisma, stuff like masculinity and sparking attraction, tension, right? Leading, guiding, being a strong masculine man. This stuff permeates all aspects of your game, and that's one puzzle piece that I've recently learned to add, and I think it's going to help create a lot of unlocks for me. Stuff like conversation topics, everything to approach anxiety, when to go out, different tactics you can use when you're out, social game, friends, pre-selection, and social proof, right? You're adding all of these little puzzle pieces as you go because you're going back to the drawing board and realizing that, oh wow, this worked really well for my friend, or wow, I've seen this work really well, or wow, I'm getting stuck here, what's worked for other people here. And the issue is, one of the biggest issues actually is that it's hard to find the right content creator on YouTube sometimes. So every now and then when I'm going and I'm getting really deep on this topic, eventually I'll come across this new creator. I'm like, holy crap, they're speaking my language. This is the exact thing I need right now. So dig deep in your knowledge acquisition. And I love YouTube for this. So dive deep on YouTube and just skim through a bunch of creators, guys, and get a ton of different perspectives on this stuff, and you'll be very quickly iterating and getting better. But it's enter the arena, do your best, and then learn and improve after, and then re-enter the arena, learn and improve and iterate, re-enter the arena, learn and improve and iterate. And guys, after a month, 2 months, whatever, skill building takes a long time. Theoretically, this stuff takes years to develop. In jujitsu, for example, it takes years to get to just the next belt, like lower intermediate blue belt, for example, right? And then from there, purple belt, that's like 3 to 4 to 5 years in, right? And then, brown belt is like 6 to 8 years in, right? People are still doing this thing, going to classes, several nights a week for 6 years straight, right? And there's still things that you can improve on. Similarly, in pickup, enter the arena multiple times a week. Go back and study hard and figure out where your bottlenecks lie, and then go back and improve on those things, right? Implement, iterate, okay? And I love YouTube, but really dive deep into YouTube because there's a lot of content creators on there. If you get kind of pigeonholed into one creator, unfortunately, they might not have the full perspective that you need to unlock these things, especially in something that's so nuanced like pickup and that's so intangible. There's a lot of intangibles like, masculinity and like charisma and all these like airy fairy terms. But yeah, like I said, guys, I think one puzzle piece that I've recently learned to add through really diving deep on my sticking points has been just masculinity, leading, guiding, creating tension, creating points of antagonism, disagreement, breaking rapport, negs, teases, stuff like this, and what it truly means to create masculine, feminine sexual attraction. Because I'm like, why am I not getting like the buy-in, even in their interactions all the way into text game, like that concept of masculine, feminine polarity and tension permeates all aspect of game as well. So that's just one thing that I found, but there's so many other things, so many other topics that I've dove deep on YouTube. So I love YouTube for that. But literally, again, guys, your mindset or your system can be go out and do a bunch of reps and then go onto YouTube and learn heavy, fully immerse, right? Study hard, be a hard studier, right? That's one point where I've lacked, and it's probably where other people lack. Maybe you find a creator and you watch some of their videos, but how much perspective are you really getting on that? And are they really solving your problem? Fortunately, not everybody that makes YouTube videos is a full-on expert. I'm learning, I'm documenting my journey. but there's a ton of other guys that might have the exact puzzle piece that you need. So dive deep. There's a whole knowledge base out there, guys, but implement and iterate is your system, and you'll get really good and you'll be pulling baddies from the bar. Peace.